peeps? It's your girl Dash coming back to you for Film Takes. Well, it's that time again, guys. It's movie news time, and it's quite a bit I want to discuss with you all. So let's just go ahead and just get right in it. The first thing I want to discuss is some sad news. Hearing that a legend, iconic legend, Sean Connery has passed. I will say when I, got up and checked my phone, whatever, and all that, and all of a sudden started seeing these different notifications, through a couple of different social medias. I was just like, oh my goodness, that one hurt. I was just like, are you kidding me? But he lived a very full life, just and 90 years old. So when I think about him, what was the first movie I saw that he did? I saw the movie Highlander, that one starring him and Christopher Lambert. I was like, because that was when I was really kind of enjoying movies at that time that were like sci-fi, definitely horror, all based whatever, but definitely considered like more like a sci-fi type of film, and done very, very well. I was just like, what is this? And I was just perplexed by that. And some people would probably think it would have been him being the GOAT of 007, but it was actually that movie. I started watching those after the fact, and his body of work goes on, of course, for decades. There's been movies all around I love. He did a movie called Fighting Force I loved. Then he did another movie, The Untouchables, which he won an Oscar for. I mean, just honestly, to name a few, because there's so many, I can't name them all, but those definitely resonate with me. Off the hip, The Rock as well is one of my faves from him, and he did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen too. That's another little fave there. But just, when you hear news like this, it just really tugs, especially when a lot of us out here, can pinpoint a movie or two. So like I said, so many that we just look for that lets us know he just make magic on film. He definitely dabbled, outside of, work, doing a lot of things he does. Seeing other interviews in the past of him, discussing how he, gets engulfed into his characters, to bring them to life, and just... And me being a little bit about the aesthetics, definitely easy on eyes. He's very handsome. People would always ask me who's some of my faves I like, that are in the film industry. He's one of those faves, that did that. But yes, when it comes to 007, he's my favorite. Love me some Daniel Craig, here for that last one, but this is the GOAT. This is the GOAT that does it for me when it comes to 007. So yes, this one definitely sad all around. But he's in a wonderful place, looking down, and just know that he is definitely loved, well appreciated. And this is going to make me want to watch something over the weekend, just to kind of reminisce on a couple of things that I enjoyed over the years that always put a smile on face when he was on screen. So just wanted to kind of put that out there before we kind of like jump right into that. So with that said, now since we're going to go ahead and get into a couple updates on some movie updates. This one has to do with, of course, one of the Marvel's MCUs, and this has to do with Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. I'm so happy we finally get some information. Director, excuse me, Destin Daniel Cretton, he is now confirmed. I'm going to post the picture up here that they have wrapped the film. Yay! Now, I had already talked about this off and on earlier this year, going a little bit into last year, but definitely all of this year, how this is in the works. It definitely got stalled for a little bit. This was actually in production in Australia, and dealing with the pandemic, they had to hold it for a minute, but then, of course, they got back to, finishing, business as usual, and now they have wrapped up. I think the principal photography is probably ended, so they're just kind of doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Now, granted, excited. The casting on this one, Simu Liu. We have Awkwafina, Michelle Yeoh. We have, Tony Leung in this film. I could be missing a name or two. Those are off the top of my head. Also, I'm just excited to see what we are in store for. This is definitely a part of Phase 4. We don't know where it falls or ties into with whatever, because I know with the way Marvel has been very, very strategic in how all the movies come out in phase and how they all kind of, connect. So I'm excited to know, because there's no real information that we're really truly getting about the film. Hopefully over the time we'll get to see something. I don't think we're going to get definitely any type of teaser or trailer or anything right now, but I'm hoping something comes out where you can show a little bit more. I know they've definitely kept this under wrap, and if they do, that is fine too. Sometimes I don't like too much to be spoiled, because sometimes you can read more into it, and anybody who follows this particular actual character might know a little bit more and have an idea, but if they see it, they'll know. I, would be definitely aloof, and there's something wrong with that. Now, in regards to the date, at first it was February of 2021. Now it's been changed to July the 9th, 2021. So I want to note the date with that, but I'm just really excited for this particular film. I talked about it, how the cast and just, it was long overdue. And I'm glad that Marvel jumped on this and made it happen. Destin doing his thing. Of course, if you all saw recently, he did another movie, was nicely cast in this, with called Just Mercy, with Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, and Brie Larson. So I just love that he has a lot of different types of films that he's worked on. So I like his range, in regards to genres. So that's a good thing with that, and that speaks to how I feel like he's going to be definitely, his creative juices is going to be just on display with this particular one, and I will definitely be there day one. I will say this, let me bite my tongue. We don't know how things will be going into next year, going to summer. Hopefully things, will start, kind of change up, where people will feel like going. This is something I have to always bring up when I'm talking about the movies, because right now it's just a non-issue, not going anywhere. So I'm really hoping as time goes on, we can all feel like, come next summer, we can see, a little bit of light at the tunnel of us being able to go back into the theaters and feel secure. But right now, it ain't happening. So moving on from that, now this of course is another update I want to discuss, has to do with the movie Respect, the Aretha Franklin biopic. Now this was supposed to come out around, what was it, December of this year? Around Christmas actually. Now its competition, you already know, would have been Wonder Woman. I see that they decided to move it, and they moved it to next year. The date is August 2021. I don't have the actual day of that month, but that seems like that'll probably be for the best. It's so much going on, not going out to see any type of movies. We know that's not going to happen. It is what it is. So I think, and they made a good choice. This is a good decision, just to go ahead and just move the movie. This is a movie definitely starring Jennifer Hudson. Aretha handpicked her back in 2018 to play this, so she saw the potential there, and Jennifer has been doing this a long time. We all came to know her from American Idol. She's come a long way. I remember seeing her when they did the Sex and the City movie. Thought she was really good, and of course when she did the movie Dreamgirls with Beyonce, and then of course winning the Oscar, and then putting out her music. She's been doing very well. I will say this, a lot of people not feeling the movie Cats, but aside from that, she's put out a lot of good work, and I'm happy she's the one that's going to be doing the Aretha Franklin film. I saw the trailer, I did a reaction to it, and I enjoyed it immensely. I do plan to go see that movie. So yeah, and then also who is starring in this one besides her, Marlon Wayans, and also Forest Whitaker. I think Forest Whitaker's character plays in the movie her father. So it's going to be very interesting. We're going to see probably all types of timeline within the actual film. I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to those parts where she's belting out the songs, because in the trailer you get a little bit of a glimpse. So, and I know she probably had to re-record certain things and all that to kind of go with that film, whichever. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and I feel like they're going to want some Oscar buzz around that for her in this one. So she will definitely most likely be, if she gets those type of whispers and something happens with that, definitely Best Actress, not Best Supporting, and that's going to be good for her. So with that said, I'm going to keep my tabs on this one, definitely, just so I can get an accurate actual date in August, but it looks like it's going to be going there. So moving on from that. Now this one, you already talked, I'm all about horror, and this has to do with Conjuring 3. I talked about it briefly because we had no real information on it so much, but a little bit more, because I think they put out a little bit of a first look, behind the scenes of what's, going on now that they're back to working on the film, dealing with, of course, as you know, pandemic, and loving that I get to see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson back at the helm of this one. Now, they give us a little bit more in the synopsis, and I want to read a little bit, because this one's, of course, called, besides Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. It says it reveals a chilling story of a terror, murder, and unknown evil that shocked even experienced real-life paranormal investigators, of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren. It says one of the most sensational cases from their files. It starts with a fight for the soul of a young boy, and this happened during a 1981 case. Then takes them beyond anything they'd never seen before to mark the first time U.S. history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as a defense. So I like that we're going to get this, and it's based off true events. When you do it like that, it makes it even more intriguing, more creepy, more exciting to watch. And I always like the same thing, like how I felt about The Conjuring 2. I enjoyed that as well, and definitely the first one. So all of them definitely in that instance. I know with this one going out of paranormal. We're dealing with more of a possession on this one as opposed to the other two. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. Not sure who else is cast. Nothing wrong with that. They're the main focal point for me anyway, so it doesn't even matter because I really want to see my girl Vera Farmiga doing her dang thing. I'm such a fan of her work for so long. So I'm here for that. And then the director on this one, just so you all know, because it's not going to be James Wan, he's a busy bee, it's going to be Michael Chavez. I'd already talked about because he did, of course, The Curse of La Llorona. So, and I saw that and actually enjoyed that. So I feel like it's in good hands. I feel like James Wan probably might be like some sort of producer on it, so he's kind of, keeping a little eye on it, whatever. But he gave it to Michael, and Michael's gonna, do what he needs to do. And I feel like if he's around him, he's watched other movies, he can have a good sense of how to make the flow of the movie actually, move or whichever. So I'm here. I want to see what it's going to look like. Don't have an actual date on this one, and I didn't have a date back then. It's kind of like been moved around a little bit because they kept claiming it was going to come out September of this year, but I said this kind of hard for that to happen, whatever, because they had not even finished even the film. So I feel like most likely maybe September of next year is a possibility, because if it does come out September next year, the its competition will be Candyman. That would be very interesting. I'm going to go see both, so it doesn't even matter. Candyman first. The love of Tony Todd, it always will win. So, but yes, I'm excited for this one. I think they stated possibly June of next year. I think I'd heard that around, so I could be off, but I think it is summer of next year. So I'm hoping I'm right about that. When I get more and more information, all that, I'll make sure I'm definitely accurate in regards to the date of when you feel like this will be released. So moving for that. Now, speaking of the cast from Conjuring, and I'm talking about Patrick Wilson, get to talk about him a little bit more. And this has to do with him going to be attached as a director for Insidious 5. Now, I will tell you, I enjoyed the first one immensely. That thing creeped me the hell out. I saw all four. I did enjoy Insidious 2. Insidious 3, it's kind of like a little prequel to learning about the character, backstory, her helping some young girl in this house, whichever. It was okay. Then I enjoyed the one Lin Shaye did, which was Insidious 4, The Last Key. Actually didn't mind that one so much. You got a little bit more backstory on her, per se. So with this one, I'm excited that he's going to be directing. That should be interesting. Of course, he has a little bit more clean insight because he's, played, said character, whichever. So let me break down the actual synopsis because I love the way he kind of go into a little bit more detail. It says, but let me tell you what he stated in a recent, discussion. He had an interview. He says, I'm honored and thrilled to be at the helm of the next Insidious installment, which will provide an amazing chance to unpack everything the Lamberts went through a decade ago, as well as deal with the consequences of their choices. Directing the movie is both professionally and personally a full circle moment for me, and I am extremely grateful to be entrusted in continuing to tell this frightening and haunting story into the further we go. I like how he says, the further we go. You all should have an idea what I'm talking about with that, hopefully. Now, with the overall story, from what they're telling me, they said the new installment is said to take place 10 years after the second film. It also says around the time when the main couple, the Lamberts, with their son going off to college. Now, if you remember from the first one, the son, kind of had dealing with a coma-like sleep, and he was dealing with, like a doorway to his spirits into the other world and all that. Started dealing with the house becoming eventually haunted of sorts. Very good. The overall situation with the husband, the reveal at the end with the camera, just, oh my gosh. To this day, that movie still freaking creeps me out, especially that last little bit of the film, the last, 15-20 minutes of it, just freaking eerie. I could watch it in the dark and it still gives me chills. I literally have hair stands up on my arm when I went to the theaters to see it, whatever, and you could hear the people in the theater. A couple of women were just like, yes, it was so freaking good. I mean, Patrick really brought that baby home. I can never unsee him the way you saw the flash when you see the picture of how he really looked all dolled up, but okay. So yes, and I'm happy he's going to be doing it. I've been following his work for a while. Of course, I loved him when he did, was it Fargo? Of course, he did Aquaman film. He's done a couple other things, but definitely just off the cuff, whatever most recently I've enjoyed him actually doing. But he's been working for a long time, so Yes, just and I can see that even though he does a little bit of everything, definitely a lot of stuff he's been doing definitely is in the instance of horror based as of late, besides Aquaman. So yes, I'm totally here for it. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing just him, Rose Byrne coming back and also Lin Shay coming back. That will be interesting. If she does come back, I don't know, but hopefully she might be in some form because, like I said, the son is definitely the way they're doing it, him going off to school. If there's going to be other instances where he's dealing with some situations while he's away at college, we don't know. So hopefully we'll see. Just them telling us a little bit, but not going into more detail if it's going to stuff still happening at the house after he's gone, So I'm going to keep tabs on this as I always do. When I know more, you all will know more, but I'm loving what I'm seeing with this one. Now, speaking films in the works. We can go ahead and get into a couple of those. This is one of the ones that I've been following this franchise for a long time. I definitely am a fan of it. I was really surprised when I heard that they were going to actually be doing this particular one. This has to do with Final Destination. This will be considered a sixth installment. The last one I saw, I think, was the fourth one. I don't think I saw the film. I don't recall seeing that one. But the first one was always my favorite one. Some movies, a lot of the ones, the sequels and all that can be good, whatever. But I do like the first one with Devon Sawa and, of course, Tony Todd. And Ali Lauder was in it as well. And just everything about the overall premise. I mean, the overall cast was good and all that. And all the kill scenes were so epic. All the other ones and some of the other films were good. But the first one is just, especially the bus scene. I just love that movie. And I know Devin recently, I follow him on Twitter, and he sometimes, feel like, I wish people get past me. I'm older now, whatever, and all that. Hey, buddy, you've done quite a few movies that are cult class, they're classics, and Final Destination being one of them. You'll never live that baby down. It just is what it is, and you just, gotta roll with the punches with that, and it's all good. It's all great. The creator, Jeffrey Reddick, made a comment recently. He was like, they were working on a new Final Destination film, but it got pushed back because of COVID. He says he confirmed that the new film will not be a pure reboot, but set in a different world from the original. Now, let me read what else he said. He says, as always, if the film is not broken, don't fix it. True. But my thing is that Death has so many designs in my brain that it could use. Like we're seeing one design with Ruby Goldberg, kind of thing. He says, but then Death could get us in so many ways. In my original story, which was a little dark because I am a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, Death kind of toyed with them psychologically for some sins or some wrongdoing they did, and they ended up killing themselves. So that was a little dark. He says, I don't think I would want to make that movie now, but I just think that Death, it would be fun to explore that world almost like what we did with the second one. That's true, I remember that. Okay. He says, I want to expand on the mythology. If I came back, I would want to do something different. And I kind of like that because you can change up just a little bit that you feel like it still kind of stays true to the previous films, but still get a little bit of something fresh. There's nothing wrong with that, but just don't go too far off, but it's been a while since we saw the last installment, whichever. I didn't see it personally, like I said, fine, I don't recall, but the first one came out back in 2000, so it's been a minute, overall since the franchise actually started. It's been 20 years, my gosh, I swear time just flies. But yes, I'm here for it. I'm excited at the thought of seeing it. I would enjoy that. And I'm going to tell you like this. Looking at the previous films that I did watch, whichever, I tell you got to have a strong stomach. I tell you that. That much I can say that people probably would in agreement. Some people go, oh, it's all right. I'm glad it is, until we find that actual pinpoint for you for what movie will have you not eating anything said before or even after. But, some people are always trying to act like they can power through. I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't, but it's all good. So moving on from that. Now this one, I'm actually really excited and hyped at the prospect of this one. This has to do with the director. I want to get his last name because I always get it bundled up. Roland Emmerich. He's done a couple movies back in the day. I love, of course, Independence Day being one of them. Epic, the first one. The other one was a Resurgent. I love when he did The Day After Tomorrow, another good one. Now he has a new movie that he's working on called Moonfall. And we're all about these disaster movies. Let's just put it in perspective. It's a disaster film. And it's just like, in the climate we live in, it's just like, okay, but, this is movies and we like to just, escape once in a while. And I'm excited, hyped about this and the cast on this one. So let me kind of just jump into this really briefly. With this one, it says, Moonfall sees a mysterious force knocking the moon out of its orbit and sending it to a collision course with Earth. And to stop global catastrophe, a team is sent to land on the moon and somehow prevent the runaway body from destroying humanity. Okay, let's just go ahead and get in like you see with that title, and then the synopsis. So right there, straight up disaster film. You already know how it's going to go. You know, you put these, certain people together and all that, who are these are the only people that can, stop this stuff from happening, from us dealing with this catastrophe and all that. So let me know that the cast, to see if you all think this cast is fit to do such. At the helm is Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson. Look at that, another person coming back in another film. Charlie Plummer, Stanley Tucci, Donald Sutherland, one of my faves. We have M.A. Ikuwako. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. My apologies. And then we also have John Bradley. Now they said Josh Gad was supposed to be in this one, but now John Bradley's going to take his place. I really wish that Josh Gad could have been this. That would have been hysterical, because I feel like even though he can do the serious, he would definitely have brought the funny. It's all good, so I'm here for that. Nothing to take away from Bradley. So yes, that's a nice little cast. When I think about some certain disaster films, I know San Andrea. I think about, what's the other one I like? Oh gosh, I'm trying to. Let me think. Oh goodness, Armageddon is another one. Yeah, those are just the ones that just pop off in my head. But yes, I'm here for that. There's nothing wrong with a disaster film if it's done right. It doesn't look like it's too just so far fetched. But I'm like Moonfall. I'm like, okay, just got to see the overall premise, and I would definitely need to see the actual trailer to kind of really vibe it. But that cast on this one is nice, and I'm really truly here for that. And just the epicness of Donald Sutherland being in, he's one of my all-time favorites. I just recently watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Just love me some him. He's awesome. So yes, I'm definitely here for that. And the brother still stays working. He's just like, no, I like what I do. It's something I want to do, and I enjoy doing. I'm gonna keep doing it. So I just love that. So I definitely will keep tabs to find out when it's going to be actually production starts, of course, and if we have an idea of when this will come out. Why do I feel like maybe if not next year, probably the year after that, depending on this. But it doesn't say if they've started production as of yet. So beginning stages, but I like the cast. Got a little bit of an idea of the synopsis, which I didn't think we would find out, but that's actually a good thing. So I like to know that sometimes early on. So moving from that. This is another one because of the cast in this one. Sometimes you want the storyline definitely work, but sometimes if you have the cast in there, it tells a story like, okay, this could work. This is another one that I'm excited about, and this has to do with a movie that's going to be titled Bullet Train. It's going to be starring, and let me just throw out the names off the cuff: Brad Pitt, Brian Tyree Henry. Then we also have Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Andrew Koji. That cast right there sounds amazing. The director for this one is David Litch. He did, of course, Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2. So right there, automatically, I already feel like we're going to get drama, suspense. We're going to get action-packed. I'm here for it. I don't even need to know about the synopsis right now, because that right there lets me know this is something I'm going to want to watch. I already know. David being the director, I like the last little bit of work he's been putting out for sure. I know he's done a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like the story coordinator and all that. So knowing that he's in the front of the screen makes me very, very happy. And Deadpool 2 was hilarious, and I definitely enjoyed Atomic Blonde. I talked about it multiple times how much I enjoyed, certain scenes, and that definitely with Charlize Theron in the fight sequences. That one particular fight sequence that just kind of carried on was done effortlessly, but I know a lot of work put into that, and from what she says during interviews, it was massive, and she was bruised up, whatever, and all that, but she got her A game on it and made it and did the damn thing. But yes, just to kind of go into that, whatever. So with this one, I don't have an actual synopsis for this right now. This is, of course, in the beginning stages. So hopefully, as time goes on, we'll get a little bit more information on this one, because I was trying to just note some little notes. But other than that, that's fine. It's all good. I have no problem with it waiting on the plot. So, like I said, cast does it for me. I feel like I know it's going to be good. I ain't gonna worry about that. It is what it is. So I just want to kind of put out the name again is Bullet Train. So again, when I know more, you all will know more. Now this is one I'm really excited at the prospect of happening. And this is another biopic that's gonna this one will be in the works, since I already talked about the one that's going to be coming out next year. This has to do with a biopic for Richard Pryor. Now I have been a fan of him for decades. I'm excited. One of my favorites he's done is, of course, Brewster's Millions. He did Stir Crazy. He did Harlem Nights. Oh my goodness, I love me some Richard Pryor. And I mean, comedy specials, I mean, the man is just iconic in his own right. And to finally know that they're going to do a biopic, which should have been, long overdue, but it's fine. Sometimes it takes time to get the right person to write, direct it, and produce it. And it looks like they found a person. So it's going to be Kenya Barris, and I'm excited about that. He is, of course, attached to shows like Blackish, Grownish, Mixedish. I hope I said that correctly. He also had dabbled in dealing with the movie Girls Trip and also the movie Little. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm excited because this is going to be his, I think, directorial debut on this one. So, on this particular feature film. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, just this, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. Now, it doesn't state who is actually going to be playing him in the biopic. I have an idea of who it should be because I know this has been circulating for a while, and some people put out their thoughts, and you can do it in the comment section if you want. I think Mike Epps should do it. I can't think of anybody else. If you can, by all means, add it into the comment section, but I think Mike Epps would be perfect to play him. Just get that voice on par, similar to as close as you can do it. Get to working on it now. I'm hoping he's being considered. This one, no pressure but pressure. And if they do it right, it's a possibility, award buzz as well. And I'm totally here for that. So, yes, this one, I most definitely plan to see. Oh my goodness, I really hope things get back, not to say we don't have any type of normalcy, because those days I feel truly are over for the moment, but I really am hoping by the time some of these certain movies do come out, even things I've talked previously on the last couple of movie news come out, I can really enjoy them in the theater, because I would really like to do that. And just not even just for me, just the vibe of being in the audience and hearing everybody else's feelings about the movie. I really take and enjoy those moments as well. It's not just the fact of, oh yeah, I'm there, and it's just me hearing people, shout out a little bit here and there, or scream, or a chuckle. It just adds to the overall experience. So yeah, I really want to see this in the theater. So keep my fingers crossed that they really do this. And I'm hoping it's a little bit of time on this one, because it doesn't state exactly when production is actually going to be starting. But I will say this. Let me read one last little thing that Barris actually said. He says, the way Pryor did what he did with the truth and specificity that was somehow self-aware and self-deprecating, deprecating, and said with an unmatched level of vulnerability, that was the power and the impact of his work. Pryor had a voice that was distinctly his, and in many ways comedy since then has been derivative of what he created. True. To me, this is a film about that voice, the journey that shaped it, and what it took for it to come to be. I like the way he put that. That's really nicely said. Yeah. I'm here for it. I will say this. I know they talked about a long time ago about Eddie Murphy considering doing it. I was like, nah, I don't foresee that. No need to do that. As much as I love that he worked with him and he directed him, of course, in Harlem Nights and all, but I'm like, I don't foresee that. I feel like somebody else would be more fitted for that. Nothing taken away from Eddie, because I know he's a legend in his own right, and with his own craft. But somebody else should play that, and I'm really, really going to vie for Epps to get that, and I really hope he does. So, because he's the only one that straight came to my mind, with the overall aesthetics, close enough in similarities with him, and definitely with the funny, he can nail that. And that's all he would truly need, because it's not like, I'm going to be honest with you, and it's no shade, I haven't seen him in anything as of late, so this would be nice to see him in this, whichever, and all that, and put him really even more on the map for sure. Because I feel like when Jamie, for him, did, oh gosh, I forget the name of the movie, but you all have an idea what I'm talking about. He did his own biopic, for someone. I just was like here for it, I was here for Ray, excuse me. And after that, it just exploded, whatever. He was already craft, whichever, but that did it, catapulted him, and the brother hasn't stopped since. So yes, I'm here for that. Keeping tabs on this one. When I know more, you all truly will know more. Now this one did not see coming, but it's been a minute. It's been 29 years, and this has to do with People Under the Stairs. Now, I remember when the first movie came out back in 91. I went to the theaters to see it. I remember my parents dropping me off. It was packed, and it was creepy. A lot of, females in there screaming, all that. I didn't do all that action, all that. I was freaking out in my seat kind of low, but I enjoyed this movie. I remember the character who went by the name Fool. I remember this was the first movie that introduced me to Ving Rhames, because I didn't know who he was. That truly was the first movie I saw him in. And just the antics of the couple, with the house. They're in there trying to, get something, some sort of, I don't know if it was jewels or coins or whatever, and end up getting locked in there, and then they find out all sorts of things are going on in this daggone house, and these supposed to be people in here looking all deformed, whatever. It was just an entire mess. It was just like, oh my god, what the heck is really happening up in this daggone house? Another actor that's in it I love is Everett McGill. and he's a fave because he's been in many things that I love. Of course, Silver Bullet being one of those films that I really enjoyed him, but he was hilarious in this film as well. And the wife goes by the name Wendy Roby. She's been in quite a few things. I know her actually from when she did Twin Peaks, because when she did this, when I was trying to, the way they have her in the makeup, it was just like, who is this? And when you go back and look at Twin Peaks, and even the most recent Twin Peaks TV series that came out a couple years back, you can see the distinction, whichever. But yeah, she was straight creepy. Definitely controlling about every aspect of doing stuff with her, and all the way they treated the girl, the way they bathed her in all red looking, just ugh. So yes, I did have to go back down memory lane with this one, because that was one of those ones I really enjoyed watching. I don't know how many people are watching it around the time, because this is a Halloween weekend. So why I bring this up is because this is going to be the first remake through Wes Craven's film that's going to be produced through Jordan Peele. Jordan's all about his horror. You already know how I feel. I'm just totally here for it. Get Out was, epic. I enjoyed Us. He is producing, the show The Twilight Zone. He has his hands dabbled in, Candyman, and also with Lovecraft Country. So anything he's attached to, honestly, I'm here to watch. There's nothing I really need to say I'm not going to tune in to check it out. He puts out work that I already know. And it's not that many people who can do that for me, I would say producer-wise, when sometimes actors I can speak, certain on their body of work, whatever, because they're very meticulous about what they choose, and most of the time they're on it. He's one of those ones as, behind the scenes person, either director or producer. If you put something out, I'm going to watch it. And I'm totally here for this. Now, we don't have any, this is at the beginning stages. We have nothing stating exactly who's going to be cast as of yet. Looking forward to finding out who's going to do that. It does not say if he's actually directing. It just says as right now him being the producer on this. So you never know if that might change, or eventually I'll find out if he actually will direct it. That would be interesting. Now this was supposed to have been a TV series they were trying to put in development, but it fell through. So I'm kind of glad, because I feel like with that you have to be very careful. Will you be able to continue a good continuation of the storyline? Will it segue into something else to keep it fresh? It's like maybe a season, maybe two, then after that. So when you're thinking about doing TV shows out of these things, it's like, how many seasons do you foresee for an actual series? That's how I feel about, and we'll get to see it next year, is the one in regards to Chucky, with Child's Play. I still don't know how I feel about that, but I'm going to give it a chance and watch it and see how the story progresses. But that's just truly my honest opinion about that. So besides that, I'm here for it. It's been about 30 years. It is what it is. Like I said, most of the time, I always say some remakes or, whatever don't need to be happening. And then I have to remind myself, there's been a couple that I like, whatever and all, but I said some. I didn't say all remakes. So I can get away with it now, whatever and all, but I try to bite my tongue a little bit and catch myself so I don't sound like some sort of a hypocrite. But I tell you, in this day and age, the way they're just throwing out these little reboots or reimaging or whatever you want to call it, it's just like, it seems like it's just all the time. So I'm just happy about this one. I'm excited. I'm definitely intrigued to see this. So I look forward to more information coming out on this one. And as Jordan Peele being attached, I definitely would keep tabs on that one. Now this one, I'm already hyped and excited at the prospect of this particular person doing this. I'm getting tongue-tied. And this has to do with Michael B. Jordan wanting to, of course, star in directing Creed 3. Now I already talked about was over a year or so ago when I did my movie review for Creed 2. I remember watching, of course, the first one, Creed. That was the one that was directed by Ryan Coogler. I did enjoy that one. Of course, starred Tessa Thompson and, of course, Sylvester Stallone. Then when he did the second one, I saw that trailer and I was here for it because it gave me flashbacks, because, of course, also starring in this one was Dolph Lundgren, and then we got introduced to Florian Munteau. And he did an excellent job. And, of course, a nice little kind of reveal of Bridget Nielsen was in it as well. And I love the way they flushed it out, because, we're dealing with some situations where, of course, Adonis still dealing with the fact of losing his father, Apollo Creed, a lot of stuff that has not resolved, whichever, and him, feeling like, Rocky owed him after what happened with his father, whichever, coming to terms with that whole situation, with them clashing a little bit about him making certain decisions in regards to his career, boxing career, him finding out that he's going to be a daddy, Tessa Thompson's character, them being scared and fearful of what would happen with their child, whatever, will she have the same situation, in regards to not being able to hear and all that, and seeing those sad moments, whatever, when she realized, yes, and them having to adapt, and deal with, how to go forward with, raising their baby, certain things coming full circle, them coming to a realization Then you're seeing how things have happened with Dolph Lundgren's character after, the match with him and Rocky, and how, he treats his son, how the mother, Virginia, just, left him wanted a better life, whatever, and how she just shows up, and just seeing how it's always just been father and son, and how they eventually realize it's just best for her not to be in the picture. It was a lot going on. It was real deep, and it was really done very, very well. I want to say Stephen Capel Jr. did the actual second one, because of course, once the first one, a couple of things came out, Black Panther, Ryan was busy, so he couldn't do this one. He was still, I think, behind the scenes as a producer and all that, so you can kind of tell. But the writing was done by Sylvester, and Steven, and they did an excellent job. Now, the way it was left over, Rocky, of course, reaching back out to his son-in-law, trying, repair his relationship, whatever. That looked like it was been done, and then showing, Adonis and Tessa's character, just having their go visiting his father at the gravesite, and then just kind of living their lives, whatever. So they have basically almost in some ways an empty canvas how they can go about doing the next one. That would be interesting. I'm curious where they're going to go with this one. I know he says he's slated to direct it, but it's no full confirmation from, I'm assuming, the movie company, so we'll have to see. But I feel like most likely he is. I mean, I don't see why not. It'll be his directorial debut. Pay for that. He's straight up busy. Of course, did Just Mercy. He wrapped up Without Remorse, Tom Clancy novel based film, and got a couple of things down the pike. He's going to be a part of What Ifs. So Michael's just busy, and I'm totally here for. I'm excited. So he's already bulked up. So I'm trying to figure out when he's going to do this, because I think he has something else going, which I already talked about. A Journal for Jordan. I already talked about that last week, which is supposed to be directed by, Denzel, starring him and Shantae Adams. So I'm trying to figure out where the films are going to match up, which one is being done first. So, and I just talked about how, him being attached to that, possibly, create a movie, whatever. He has a couple of things in works. Here we are discussing that too. So I'm really looking forward to everything he's putting out. I like that he's just, besides being, in front of the camera, he's going to be behind it. He's going to be double duty in this one. So I want to see what's the dynamics going to be with him and his wife and their daughter. How many years have passed? If they're going to age her a little bit, might do maybe a 5-year age gap. That would be interesting if they start like that. I'm just putting on my ideas of what I think with that. But yes, I'm here for a Creed 3. Because he did say in the interview, he said he'd be down to do a third one. Never brought up the directing part, but he just said he would be down for a third installment in regards to the franchise. So, again, that's another one I most definitely plan to see. I hope you all enjoyed that one too. The second one that came out, whatever, because like I said, it really was really good, really good. So, moving from that. Now, this one, definitely here for it. And I'm excited because of the actual director who's attached to this, and a couple of people that are actually in it. And this has to do with the film. It's going to be called The $1 Billion Spy. It's going to be directed by Ama Asante. I'm excited because she did the movie The United Kingdom and also the movie Belle, which I so enjoyed. I love Belle. And this one, let's get a little bit of a synopsis on this one. It's rather lengthy, and I'm kind of just go ahead and read it off. It says, Brad Reed, starring, let me just note this, my apologies, starring Mads Mikkelsen and also Armie Hammer. Now it says, Brad Reed, played by Hammer, is a fresh arrival at the Moscow station of the CIA when he's approached by Soviet engineer Adolf Tolkovich, played by Mikkelsen. It says, ignoring the advice from his bosses that Tolkovich is an obvious KGB dangle, Reed develops a bond and unique friendship with the Russian, who seemingly only wants to help his family escape the corruption within the Soviet Union. Reed's faith in Tolkovich is rewarded when he hands over a treasure trove of military secrets obtained using classic Cold War spy craft. It says, it earns Tolkovich the nickname the $1 Billion Spy, and alters the balance of power between East and West. It says, but their success in evading the KGB comes at a great personal cost to both men and their marriages to wives Tina and Natasha, all struggling with the daily paranoia of being caught. Then one day a shocking betrayal puts them all in grave danger. Already drama, suspense, definitely gonna get some action, and I think both those two being cast are perfect. I am definitely a fan of Mikkelsen. I mean, let's just say, of course, a lot of people, Hannibal. I like when he did the movie, what is it? I liked him in Polar. I liked him in Casino Royale. Also, what do you do? The movie called The Door, which I enjoyed as well. He has so many films. I can't name them all, but those are the ones that registered with me that I can remember that I actually did watch. Now, for Armie Hammer, the first thing I will say is that he's come a long way. He did a TV show back in the day on Fox that I watched called Reaper. I don't know if you all know that, but that show was hysterical. There was a couple other people on the show that I actually enjoyed as well. I can't remember the guy's name, darn. I might put his face up here because he was on the show with him, and the guy was, it was this other guy on it, was brought a lot of the funny. But Armie's character on that show was hysterical. Now, besides that, he also was in the most recent film that I've seen stuff in regards to is Rebecca. He also did this movie called Wounds that I really enjoyed. Very creepy, and of course he's going to be in Death of the Nile with Gal Gadot. So he's just a straight up busy bee, you know, in the last, 5 to 10 years, he's just been cranking it out. So I'm actually happy for, you know, him as well. But I like the casting on that. It sounds really, really good. And every now and then I watch a couple of war movies like this, you know, or spy films, you know, like this. So I haven't watched anything as of late, but this one definitely intrigues me. And I love that, you know, Asante is at the helm of it, so it's going to make me want to watch it even more, and I plan to do such. So I'm really here for that, and they said this is based off of a true story, so that makes it even more exciting to me to, you know, definitely take time to catch it when it does come out. I look forward to seeing the trailer for this one when it comes out. So, but yes, I'm here for this. Asante, I am so happy for her. I just love the little bit of body of work that I'm seeing, you know, she keeps putting out, whichever, and I just love that, you know, some individuals, you know, I would just speak for myself, you know, would think, you know, certain movies will be certain things more, so like, you know, relationship based, whatever and all, but I just like that the pictures that she's picking are all dealing in things, you know, in regards to, say, for instance, definitely true events, or dealing with stuff in regards to, you know, racial, you know, situations, you know, events, things of that nature. You know, it calls home because it's definitely dealing in true history and true facts, which I like. So I love that for her, and I'm just hoping this will be another one I can definitely say that I enjoyed, and I feel like I will. Like I said, with the two main cast, you know, in this one. So yes, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I look forward to finding out when this will probably be in production. Also, when this was planning to come out. I don't have anything listed in my notes that says when it comes out. So hopefully, if not next year, maybe the year after. So maybe I'm looking for early 2022. So, but like I state, as always, when I know more, you all will know more. So moving from that one, this is the last one, and this one I talked about earlier this year, but I only had a little bit of information because it was nothing pertaining to this one, and didn't know who the director was. This has to do with a film called Shadow Force, and it's going to be starring Sterling K. Brown and also excuse me, also my girl, and I just lost her name, Kerry Washington, excuse me. And I'm excited because the person that's directing, I'm a fan of her work, and this has to do with Victoria Mahoney. She has been getting some work in behind the camera, and I'm feeling some of the work she's done. Let me just throw out some names of some shows she's done. She's done American Crimes. She's done Queen Sugar. She did an episode of Lovecraft Country recently that I enjoyed immensely. And then another one, Grey's Anatomy. I definitely know she did a little bit of work, whichever. So, of course, she's worked, you know, alongside, you know, with Debbie Allen, if Ava DuVernay. Who else has she worked alongside of here as well? Patty Jenkins. So, yes, I'm just excited for her being attached to this particular film. And let me get a little bit of a synopsis for you on this one. It says it follows an estranged husband and wife with a bounty on their heads, who must go on a run with their son to avoid their former employer, a unit of shadow ops that have been sent to kill them. Very interesting, and the plot that makes it even more interesting is the fact that their son, they have to go on the run with their son. So keeping themselves out of danger definitely is a focal, but it's more so to protect their child, because if they, you know, you all know how that go, they get a loved one, they can, you know, flush out the actual person they're trying to kill, you know. So it's going to be very interesting how, because it makes you wonder, the little boy, and how old is this little boy? Is he going to be 10, 12, something like that? Not no teen, but some little young one, probably like around 8 and 10, you know, like, mommy, what's this? Mommy, dad, what's going on? You know, and start seeing mommy and daddy with the guns, whatever, and all blazing, whichever. So it's going to be very interesting. How gritty and dark is it going to get with this one? You already know drama, suspense, so, and definitely some action for sure. So I'm kind of glad, and I like the little pair up with Sterling K. Brown and Kerry Washington. When I talked about this just really quickly and briefly months ago, earlier this year, I had nothing going. I just said it was a movie called Shadow Force and starring them. We had no plot information at the time. So knowing we have a little bit more now makes me very happy, and I'm psyched to see this. Sterling K. Brown, he's another busy one. You know, definitely getting a lot of work. You know, he's definitely because I think they just started the new season for This Is Us, and my friends online are losing their minds. But yes, I remember when he did 2 episodes of Supernatural. That was when I was first truly introduced to him, and of course after that, watching him in a couple other things, and of course when he got This Is Us, it's like catapulted. He was in Black Panther. You know, he's doing some other movies here. He did a movie, I cannot remember the title, that I so enjoyed. I might post the poster up here, and it was a beautiful movie. If you never saw it, please see it. I'm going to post the poster up here. But yes, he's just a great actor, and I swear when he does movies, his face always shows the exact emotion he's trying to convey within that scene. It's unreal. Those eyes do it every time. And I can't say enough about Kerry Washington. I've been following her for a long time, and she's just epic on so many levels. Love me some of her and just what she's putting out with her body of work. So yes, I'm going to be here for this. I'm so excited to see Victoria Mahoney, definitely, you know, behind the scenes. I know she worked on the Rise of Skywalker movie, so she's a powerhouse, you know, getting that directing on a whole nother level, and definitely sought after. So yes, I'm here for it. Again, when I know more on this one, you all will know more, and that is it, you guys. Comment below, as I always say, about anything I discuss. You already know how I feel. I like to gonna get into it with you, a couple of you all, just going back and forth with our banter. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoy my movie news. I'll see you guys in the next one.